Good evening, a warm welcome to New Scotland Hill Primary School. I'm Simon Cotterill. My privilege is to be head teacher of this amazing school and to work with the team here and inspire our children to ensure that they have the very best school days they can possibly have in this amazing setting. The greatest privilege of my role is that you're here with us tonight, in fact, and considering that this is a school for you and for your children to become part of our school family. I appreciate it is a somewhat different world that we're into this time last year, when our doors would have been wide open to visitors walking around during the school day, enjoying seeing the children at work and experiencing their learning alongside them. And in fact, I would have very much been throwing some Year 6 children at you to do the tours themselves and putting them to some good work. We can't do that at the moment, and I know there is nothing that's a substitute for that experience of actually walking through the doors of a school and seeing what goes on day in, day out. However, this is the first of our virtual open evenings, and I very much hope that it gives you a flavour for who we are here at New Scotland Hill. That it gives you a chance to think about what is at the heart of our school in terms of our ethos and our vision, and a chance to get to know us as a school, because that's what this choice is all about. It's about choosing that place that your child is going to very much feel at home. Now, I mentioned our children, and of course they're at the heart of absolutely everything that we do here at school. And I have some of those children ready and prepared in their Year 6 classroom, along with Mrs. Brown, my deputy head teacher, and Mrs. Darrowell, who is our early years lead and reception teacher. Now I'm going to hand over to those children now so that you can say hello to them.
Hello, I'm Mrs. the deputy head.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Darrowell, the reception lead and class teacher here.
And that's back to me. And tonight, those children, as I said, we're going to put them to good use. We like overtime here, and those children have volunteered to come back and answer your questions tonight. So they're the experts in their field. They've lived and breathed New Scotland Hill for the last 6 or 7 years. In some cases, just over the last year, those children have joined us more recently and now very much feel at home. They're going to answer your questions, so please feel free to submit those. We will revisit our Year 6 classroom towards the end of the evening and see how they've got on with those responses. But as I said, thank you ever so much for joining us. Now, depending on how much you know about us as a school and how local you are to us, what you've heard from word of mouth or following us on our social media feeds, we are at the heart of the Little Sandhurst community. We are a one-form entry school. That means we have about 30 children in each of our classes, with approximately 200 children on roll. We have a thriving nursery on site as well, and our numbers continue to grow in our nursery. We're an Ofsted rated good school. Our last inspection was January 2018. And we're very much looking forward to that moment in the future when we're revisited to continue to show that journey to outstanding and excellence that we're very much on. We have a beautiful, modern, spacious and well-resourced building. We are blessed with the facilities that we have here, both the internal building and those high-quality learning spaces and classrooms that our children spend their days in, but also the grounds of our school, which I will very much share with you as the evening goes on. On site, we have breakfast and after school provision run by Kids R Us, and we're really lucky actually. We have a fantastic relationship with them as a provider for that wraparound care, and some of their staff also work for us in various roles as support staff, lunchtime supervisors. It means we've got that real strong relationship and continuity for our children between the two settings. Within school, we have the most fantastic team of teachers. They're brilliant and so dedicated and committed to giving our children that true experience of what school should be. We have a really exciting, vibrant kind of part of the school life and the journey of the school that we're in at the moment. We have some new staff who've joined us recently and have made a real impact with bringing new ideas to the school and making sure that we're continually developing what we do. And we also have staff who are very much rooted in us as a school and our ethos. And what that brings to us is that experience and also those fresh ideas. Amongst those staff, we have a really experienced special educational needs coordinator, and that allows us to offer some really rich provision around personalised learning and really tuning into what each of our individual pupils need in terms of their time in school. We have a real strong commitment to outdoor learning that's at the heart of what we do. We utilise those beautiful grounds. They're extensive and expansive, and they also border the beautiful woodland around us of Wildmoor Heath. So we have a gate that goes straight out onto that heathland, and surrounding areas such as Ambarrow Court. And we have regular visits that I'll talk about as the evening goes on that are very much part of our curriculum. And that curriculum is also centred on those core skills of reading, writing and maths that are essential to empowering our young people to go out into the world and make the very best of all the opportunities that come their way. We have a broad and rich curriculum. There are wider opportunities and visits that enhance this. And sports and physical activity is highly valued. It's central to our children's experiences. It can't be otherwise. I spent my previous life as a teacher leading PE and developing that real passion and seeing the difference that that can make to our young people. And it's something as a school that we're absolutely committed to. And mental health and well-being, factoring in the world that we live in at the moment and the impact of lockdowns and all things COVID, is obviously high profile and very much in the news. But as a school, it's actually been a priority for us in terms of developing our curriculum and our support for our pupils to ensure that when we talk about educating the whole child and supporting the whole child, we're very much looking at their personal well-being. And in line with that, this summer, we completed a project to develop a dedicated nurture space in school. We have a beautiful room that is dedicated to that very purpose of giving time and space to our young people and also families and parents who may need support from us as a school, because we're very much about that relationship with you as parents and families. We also have trained support staff, a member of staff who is dedicated to their role as emotional literacy support assistant. And what that allows us to do is just tune in to those individual personal needs of our children on a daily basis and have support within school that can really make that all important difference. Now, looking at the context for us as a school, admissions over the last year really give us an indication of the pride that we take in being the heart of that community, but also our wider community and the impact that's had on growing as a school. We, this time last year, had 10 spaces across our Key Stage 1 and 2 classes. Those are our infants and juniors. This year, we only have 5 spaces in those comparable classes. Last year, our reception cohort consisted of 17 children. This year, we're full with 30 children and a waiting list as well, oversubscribed as a school, and a very popular choice for our families last year, as I'm sure will be in the coming year. And that was reflected in the preferences by the data and information gathered by Bracknell Forest. Last year, we were chosen by 56 parents, which included 12 as our first choice. Now for this current year, and here we're talking about the existing cohort of reception children, not the cohort that your children would go into, we had 71 preferences and 31 of those were first choice. So the initial first choices last year filled us as a cohort. We're incredibly proud of that, and what it says to us is we're that school of choice in the local area, and we are offering something that creates that exciting buzz of feeling that this is the place for those children. And that's very much extended into the first half term. Those children, you met Mrs. Darrowell, their teacher, those children are flourishing as they've started life here at New Scotland Hill, particularly today, where they were out across the common on one of their outdoor adventures. And you could sense the excitement as they came back to school with mud on their boots, smiles on their faces, and not least from the adults across school who had accompanied them. We are a growing community here at New Scotland Hill. We talk about our catchment and our local community, and we have that very traditional heart of the village feel to our school, but we also have a very much wider community across the local area. And that includes other areas of Sandhurst, including College Town and Owlsmoor, families that travel from Crowthorne and Bracknell, and we do have a number of families that travel from over the border into Hampshire, from Yateley and Frogmore and so on, as word of mouth about us as a school has got out, and we've become that preferable option for families that see something in us and want to be part of this community here. And it's been one of the really exciting things for us as a school to welcome families from across the local area, and it's brought a real dynamic to us as a school. It's an inclusive place that is about community. In terms of outcomes, I won't read through endless figures because it's something that I wouldn't appreciate to have to spend the next 10 minutes of our evening doing, but these are available for you to have a good look at. And the general story that these tell is of that improvement over the last year. Now, for our cohort 2 years ago, if we look at the top there for our early years cohort, our reception children at the end of reception 2 years ago, 63% of our children achieved the expected level of development across all areas. Now, nationally, that's 72%, and we've worked on some significant improvements and development points, and initiated some really interesting and exciting opportunities within school to improve those outcomes. And last year, although we don't have official figures because lockdown curtailed the year, 80% of our cohort were on track by spring in our moderated assessments to reach that level. And that story of improvement is told across all areas for year 1 phonics, for Key Stage 1, for our year 2 children, and at the end of year 6. It's something we're incredibly proud of. As head teacher, I came in a year ago and have been blessed with a team that are progressive in their thinking, looking to try new ideas, and it's really shown in the impact it's had on outcomes for our pupils. Outcomes are one key aspect of our core functions of school, but we are also here to be at the heart of that community and to embrace each and every child for the individual who they are. Now, I have to say I get ridiculously excited as head teacher, and I'm sure Mrs. Brown would be nodding now to say easily distracted by the day-to-day life of our school. And it's this that is the driving force and motivating factor in us as a school at New Scotland Hill, ensuring that our children have a rich, broad curriculum, and at the heart of it, that sense of being part of a community. Now, I say I'm easily distracted, and it's by what goes on in our school. It's by the events that some of the pictures here will capture, and it's that sense of a buzz around every corner about the noise of excitement and learning going on in classrooms and beyond those classroom doors around the grounds of our school. Here are some snapshots of how community looks and feels to us. And I think at the moment, as a school, we have an essential function in our community with the way that life has gone over the last 6 or 7 months, to ensure that we stay connected with all of our families. And in a day and age when we're not able to have that close contact, as a school, we really pride ourselves on what we're able to do to maintain that relationship. Ordinarily, our doors are open to families to come through and experience being part of that, through curriculum days, through celebration assemblies, through WOW days, where we will celebrate a project that's been going on in school and getting families involved. And you can see a snapshot there, some parents who have been in last year prior to lockdown building scarecrows with our year 2s out in the rain. I think the parents and families actually ended up kind of muddier and grubbier after spending time building those scarecrows. But our children love that connection with our families, and we have that on a daily basis through reading volunteers, through opportunities to come in and cook and bake with our children, to come on school trips and visits, which are very much a heart of our curriculum. But we are open-armed and welcoming of you as families coming into our school and very much being part of the life of the school. This time last year, almost to the day, we opened our doors to approximately 150 members of our families, as we had a celebration day at the end of a literacy project linked to the outdoors and a book we'd been celebrating. And as part of that day, and I was thinking of it only earlier on this morning and reminiscing whilst looking out onto the field, we had parents who were taking part in orienteering activities, parents and families painting stones that became a project, hiding those around the heath. And we also had poetry recitals from each of our class, with a hall jam-packed with an attentive audience of understandably proud parents and families. And that's the place that you will be coming to join. Those are the experiences that you will share in. They're rich and they're meaningful. And as a parent myself, I know that that matters so much in school. Now, I mentioned the context we're currently in. We are not able to open our doors and have our existing parents and families come and look around in the same way that we can't do that for you. And that's been hard as a school. But what we have done is be quite innovative about that and look at how we can use technology to embrace that sense of community. We are very active on social media because we appreciate how our families and our young people are using that as their way of communicating. So please do look up our Twitter, Instagram and Facebook accounts, because they are full of these rich experiences that we're talking about tonight. But we have also adopted 2 systems across school that allow parents to access their children's work and to see photographs and evidence of what's been going on in school, but also to communicate. And those systems are Tapestry in early years and Seesaw across the school. And what that allows us to do is to children to post their work online. You have a unique access code that allows you to have it message ping up on your phone. You can see your children at work, what they've been doing. You can comment on that, and you can share in that experience. And that's going to be crucial, and has been, during the period we're in regarding lockdown and absences from school caused by the current pandemic. We've been able to set work and for teachers to connect with children that have maybe been out of school for a significant amount of time or a number of days. And it's been a really empowering tool with keeping our families connected with us. Community to us also means doing those things as a school that mean we can go out and take part with pride and show who we are and who our young people are as sports people, artists, musicians and so on. So, for example, you will see there our girls football team who won, just prior to lockdown, won the local festival for the first time ever. We're very much about embracing those opportunities through sport. Community days, one of our teachers very much getting involved, Mr. Lever's there, covered in yellow paint. We had a celebration day around mental health and wellbeing just a couple of weeks ago, and ended the afternoon with a colour run. Ordinarily, we'd have invited our parents in so you could get involved. We couldn't do that this year. So what we did was make sure that we very much posted that through our social media channels for parents to be involved. But trips, visits around the community are crucial to us. We go and sing with the local dementia cafe, with some of the residential homes locally, and we're also looking at how to connect with them in the virtual world, particularly with Christmas coming up, ways that our children can have a really personalised experience of making an impact on the community. And of course, during lockdown, it really shows with our families who engaged through different initiatives that we put in place. Things like the painting rainbows around the village and the locality. Our key worker children did that in school, but we also as staff got involved in challenges that the children set us. If you have a look on our YouTube channel and our social media feeds, you'll see various members of the school community staff-wise getting involved in toilet roll challenges, water bucket challenges and all sorts of things that the children initiated, And actually, as much as they seem a bit of fun, it's crucial to maintaining that positive relationship with our young people and families. There's also that element of the sense of pride that our school have in the local community. You can see there regarding Remembrance Sunday, we'll have children this year in a very different way, still marking that out in the community. Obviously the service won't take place, and we always as a school take part in that, but we're looking at ways that we can still mark that and ensure that we have that sense of place in the much wider world and the kind of history and culture of the school. Now, the words that you're seeing on screen are our school vision, and it's something that I've shaped over the last year, along with that brilliant team of staff. And we're really keen to ensure that our curriculum does strive for excellence, but that it's a real, there's a real sort of feel to everything that we do. Everything has to have a purpose and mean something. So for our young people, it's absolutely crucial as a 4-year-old that you paint with broccoli. And it's absolutely crucial that you make the most incredible pair of binoculars out of toilet rolls, and that you feel that you have just created something that's never been made before, or that you've struck gold, because that is what being at school is about. Because if we do that as artists and we do that as designers, we'll do it as writers. And the links between what you see children doing on the screen there, collaboratively as a group of young children creating something that's truly special, and we can do it in those grounds that allow us to embrace the outdoors. We have that sense of collective pride. We believe we can achieve anything. And you can see our writers there, our emerging writers, learning that actually they can do it with a pen as much as they can do it with that stick of broccoli. That moment, I will say, I talked about being distracted as a head teacher. They're very focused distractions in that the nursery and reception outdoor space is right outside my window. So what I'm doing there, by leaving the window open, is actually keeping a keen eye on the learning that's going on, but I will also very much keep a keen eye on any opportunity to go straight out there and join in with what's going on as well. And it's the great privilege of the job to hear that laughter and to hear that talk for learning and to hear that buzz of excitement that happens, because that is what school is about. It doesn't stop at early years. Because the early years curriculum, and I have to say our team here are outstanding at what they offer, and the team that work under Mrs. Darrowell's excellent guidance and inspirational leadership, they have something very special going on, and they create that buzz. But what then happens is it drives that buzz through the school, because our year ones are not going to stop experiencing that curriculum and the principles behind it. And I tell you now, those year sixes aren't either, because they're sat in that classroom now, collectively and collaboratively as a huge group of children that wanted to be here tonight in their way of showing you that commitment to school, but also that sense of pride in being a part of a place where it's about making a difference. For me, it has to carry on to the day that our children leave year 6. They have to have that richness of experience that means that they long to stay here and still be part of New Scotland Hill, but they equally are so keen to step out into that wider world and to go and make that difference. And what that curriculum looks and feels like is that opportunity to focus on reading and writing for a purpose, and to bring maths into the real world. But it's also about getting out onto the sports field and learning a new skill. It's also about sitting in the playground, as our year 5s did the other week. And I know they were up to this because I followed it on Twitter. They were debating whether teachers should be replaced by robots. I seem to think there was a consensus from year 5 that they possibly could be. I don't think the teacher took it personally, but I then asked the question, should head teachers be replaced by robots? I very much don't think that our children should be replaced by robots, and therefore I think we have to have that human connection. But I love the fact that they were outside having that debate rather than sat in the classroom. They were able to, as young people, offer their opinion and give their reasoning for that based on their experiences in life and school, and they were able to have that proper business of debating and listening to each other and learning from each other's opinions. You'll see a couple of other snapshots there. Some of our junior children who went to the O2 last January and got to sing in an auditorium where the most famous performers in the world have done so. For those children, what an experience and what a memory to take away, but also an inspiration for our youngsters who love music or perhaps haven't had that before, and now they've had it, it's become their thing. And right in the middle of the picture, we love those experiences that show how one action leads to another and it has an impact, because to be honest, that's what everything in school is about. Those children planted their potatoes as year 4s, as year 5s, months later, they dug them up. I had to march outside the front door to go find out what the commotion was about, but they'd pulled up gold, and the gold was the potatoes that they then took straight to our school kitchen, passed over to our cooks, who then showed the children how they would prepare them, let the children have a go at preparing them. They created potato salad that our children across the school ate for their lunch. That is what the fabric of a real rich curriculum does for our children. And our school is a family. We are there for each other, and I believe that we should love and care and share in those experiences. We should have joy and happiness that fill our days. I still think that we can challenge each other, and our children like to be challenged. And talking to our youngsters as we do, as part of monitoring what goes on in school, they talk about challenge. They love that as part of their day-to-day life, but they're in an environment where it's supportive and inclusive, and it's also acknowledges that challenge brings with it success. Sometimes it doesn't go right and we have to learn from it, but the way that we move forward from that is together as a team, as a community, and the pride we get when it clicks is immense. One of our year 6s a week ago got division. Now, for you as parents listening in, I'm absolutely certain that if I were to put you on the spot now, and the next slide is a division question to test you out. It's not really, so please don't leave us this evening. But if I were to ask you those memories of school and the things that stick in your mind that you found challenging, I would hand on heart say division. Now, for one of our year 6s last week, they got it. And everyone knew it, because everyone in that class celebrated in that joy of that moment where for that child, they had unlocked it all. But that came from being part of that secure, supportive environment. But it looks like so many things. It's sitting together and eating lunch, as you can see there. It's having reflective moments out on the heath together where you have stillness and calm. It's splashing in red water that goes everywhere. In the jumpsuits that as a school we bought because we want our reception children, our nursery children to be able to go marching across the heath and feel like they're part of something. And we want them to get wet and muddy, and we want them to have the laughter that goes with that learning experience. And it's also, as you can see in that picture there, for that individual child knowing that they have a place in our community, whether it's sitting in a tree contemplating, whether it's standing and having that peace and quiet on the hill, whether equally it's with your classmates, taking part in one of our team building exercises, something we put in place this term to support children on returning to school and to build self-confidence and self-esteem. We have employed a sports coach who is working with those children to offer those opportunities and to ensure that we're factoring their well-being into those experiences. It's making noise and learning how to untangle yourselves as a team, and at the end of it, jumping up and down with that joy that echoes around the school grounds. It's also about, as we said before, laughing. It's about celebrating those moments that are truly special. And it's very much about being there to pick each other up and to make sure that we carry on that journey together and are there for each other as a school community. That is what matters to us. And that school is New Scotland Hill. This is the best way to describe the pride you have as a head teacher. Now, I joined here just over a year ago, 2019, my first headship. And I have to say, it's the greatest thing I've ever done. It's the most challenging thing, but it's also the most rewarding, because what I see is that journey fulfilled for our staff, for our community and families who I meet on the gate every day and have a chance to talk with and to share in those experiences of what it means to be a family here at New Scotland Hill, but also, and most importantly, for that journey our children go on. As a new head teacher a year ago, the proudest moment of my first couple of weeks was, other than that first day and taking those first strides around school, obviously in a new pair of shoes, so everyone could hear me coming and make sure that I was announced around the school. But actually, it was the plop of the newspaper landing through the letterbox, and our children had been photographed, as all schools had, for their first day at school. And we were on the front page, the page that you can see there. And I looked at it and I thought, actually, this is about the journey that those children at 4 years old are going to go on over the next 7 years. And for me, that motivation and that drive and that pride that I have is to empower our staff team and our community to see where those children are led through that journey. Now, I've had 1 year and I have the most amazing group of year sixes as role models in school. I have to say that, because some of them are there in the room next door listening in, but they are truly incredible. And what that says to us is the journey those children go on from the age of 4 through to the age of 11 is the journey that is going to inspire them to go on and believe they can achieve anything in life. And that is the exciting moment for you as families now, as you choose that school that is going to foster that sense of inspiration and pride and independence, and to challenge your children to be the very best that they can possibly be. And I would love you to come and join us on that journey. I know it's a moment in our lives as parents, having been there before with my children, who are somewhere perched up on the bookcase behind me, because I use that as a motivation that what I want for your children is what I would always want for mine, and that is a place that truly cares, truly believes in them, and wants the very best for them. It's the biggest decision you'll make, and I place myself back in your boots several years ago when I was choosing schools, and I know there's that daunting choice and that decision to be made, but I said earlier on, it's the great privilege that you have joined us tonight and will continue to join us through the ways that we're able to connect in making that decision. We're here for you. That's the key thing. We are supportive of making that decision. We're here to pick up the phone and to talk through with you. There are various different avenues you can go down to find out about us. Check out our website with our prospective parents page in particular, and our Facebook streams and so on. Before we finish tonight, obviously the most important thing is this is about our children, and I am going to look to hand back now to our year 6 classroom. If I can just bear with me one moment, we will send you across. I think we're there live. Are we live now?
Yes, we are.
Because this is about our children, I'm going to hand back to Mrs. Brown, and we'll get a little bit of feedback and just chance to sort of share a few ideas from our children's point of view, based on some of the questions that have been coming their way or some of their ideas. Mrs. Brown.
Yeah, we've had a very afternoon or evenings answering your questions. There was one that would really resonated with the children. It was about what they love about coming to New Scotland Hill. So there's a few children who are just going to announce what they feel is the best thing about this school.
The best thing about this school is it's a good family, and sometimes we go outside to do learning. We have a lot more space, and we're very lucky to have what we have all together. The best thing about the school is that you can have fun and learn at the same time. The best thing about this school is our outdoor curriculum, and that our space outside is amazing, and also we open the gates and we can just run free, and that feeling is amazing. The best thing about New Scotland is sport, as we can do lots of fun activities like cross country and hockey.
Fantastic. So that's just a little idea of what makes New Scotland Hill such an amazing school to come to.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Brown. Thank you. Thank you ever so much to our children as well. I have to say, I've sat there with a big smile on my face. I could not be prouder as a head teacher. Children, thanks ever so much. You clearly earned the sweets, treats, rewards, whatever was there to greet you as you arrived tonight. Most sincerely, though, those children could not have wanted more to be part of this evening. I think that showed there. As I said, we're here for you. There are various avenues you can go down to find out more about us. I'm very welcoming of you giving me a call in school. Just call the office. Helen on the front desk or Paul will take your call. Just ask to speak to me, Simon, and I will very happily chat away over anything that helps with making that decision. We are also bearing in mind that we have a few months left before deadline for making a decision. We will do everything possible to welcome you through the door. We can't do that at the moment, of course, but we are able to during the school day, but we are able to offer you a quick walk round and a look round outside of school hours. Please do contact the office for details of that. All that remains to be said is thank you ever so much for joining us tonight. I very much look forward to speaking with you in the near future, and I really look forward to your children coming to join us on that journey, and who knows, being on the front page of next year's Bracknell News and filling me with the pride that I've had tonight seeing our Year 6s and also being able to share with you the journey we're on as a school. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Have a lovely evening, and please do get in touch again soon. Thank you.